All right, welcome back to another edition of Horseman Pro Football Talk podcast. I am Brad.
And I'm Hefe.
Next game up, Bengals at the Titans. This has long-term implications in the AFC. The Bengals trying to get their shit together, man, and the Titans are wanting to hold on to that number 3 spot that they have right now. What do you think?
This is a tough game to pick because even without Jamar Chase, like that Bengals offense is still putting up numbers every game. And, granted, they just played the Steelers. Steelers defense hasn't been fantastic this year by any means. But, when TJ Watt's in the game, they're a different defense, and they were still able to put up 37 points. And so it's hard to pick against them with the way they've been playing, but it's also hard to pick against a team that's won 7 games in a row. No matter good team, bad team, they're putting everybody up and beating everybody. And I think their only loss or their last loss was to the Chiefs in overtime. They lost by 3 points. So, you're talking about them beating one of the best teams or losing to one of the best teams in overtime. So, Titans still great. Mike Vrabel still the coach of that team. And I think that is probably what it's going to come down to for me is like the coaching discrepancy. Like I feel like, and you're more the coach, so I'd like to know what you think. I feel like when you talk about the Bengals, a lot of times when they play the great teams with the great coaches, it comes down to Zach Taylor being the coach and like all the talent that the Bengals have, in my opinion, all the talent that the Bengals have, it doesn't matter in those games against great teams because of who their coach is and the inexperience that he has.
So if you remember, I wasn't real big on Zach Taylor coming into last season. We talked about on here, and it wasn't because I knew anything about. Not that I didn't know anything, but it wasn't because I knew so much about him. I thought he'd be a terrible coach. It was the whole trend of hiring these young guys to just come in because that was a hot thing to do, right? And then I appreciated what he did last year. I really did. Now, we can argue about talent. There's obviously a viable argument there, but I've seen a lot of talented teams. We're looking at the Indianapolis Colts right now, maybe the most talented team in the league. If not, they're certainly one of the top talent, and they were struggling under Reich. And I think Reich's a good coach. So he's got a lot of experience. So just because they're talented doesn't mean what they did last year was because of the talent. Coaching has to come in there somewhere. Now, luck also comes into play, right? So going into last season, I really wasn't a big fan of Zach Taylor. At the end of last year, I was like, okay. He got my respect, but I still kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. And as he matures as a coach, we'll see that. It'll be interesting to see what happens from here because they're kind of on the ropes a little bit. Expectations were real high, right? They come out of last year, they're like, we're going to win a Super Bowl. They're not kind of living up to that. It'll see how his leadership is in that aspect with the team. If he can rally, Joe Burrow is going to play a huge part in that, of keeping that team rallied together. He'll be his field general. But to answer your question, inexperience is a hindrance sometimes, right? Last year, I think it may have helped him out a little bit because he was unpredictable. People didn't know what he was about. Now they're watching film. They figured out what he likes to do. So how he adjusts and learn from here is going to determine whether he's going to stay with the Bengals and have a great. And I can't answer that. I can't answer that. So you hope that the guy is watching the film when he's being out coached. And being a young coach and being out coached is part of the game. But going back, you think after when Bill Belichick got fired by the Browns, you don't think he's gone back and reviewed all that game film? He probably hasn't for the last 10 years, but I guarantee you the first couple of years in New England, he was rewatching film and that's how you learn. I'd like to think this guy's doing that. So it'd be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season. Long term, next year and the year after, how he adjusts. But I'm really, really interested in seeing what happens from here on out the rest of the year because they're in a shot to not only get in the playoffs, but they're in a shot to win their division. They're only a game out. And they certainly have the talent to do so. This is a big step. The Titans are playing well. Vrabel's the only one out of Belichick's tree to be able to put it together. We liked what they were doing when he went there. We liked when Tannehill got out from underneath that jackass Gase in Miami. When Gase tried to scapegoating, Tannehill's done a great job. He's doing a great job this year. I don't even need to talk about Derrick Henry. I mean, the Titans are for real, and this is going to be a good game. I'm really excited to see. We'll know who each of the. So if the Titans come out and win 42-0, we know there's a problem in Cincinnati. If the Titans win 42-41, we'll know we got two Super Bowl contenders on our hands. So I'm really excited about this game. All in all, though, I think the Titans have their shit together more right now than the Bengals do. And for that reason, I have to take the Titans.
It's hard to disagree with that assessment. Just, the Titans seem to have their shit together right now. That Bengals team is exciting.
They are.
Man, this is a tough one to call because, this is coin flip, and I wouldn't be surprised who wins. What I think this comes down to, again, I think the coaching department, Mike Vrabel, an amazing coach, his guys are going to be ready for this, and their style of play, I think, is going to be too much for the Bengals to handle. The way they dominate the trenches on both sides of the ball and have Derrick Henry as a freight train for 35 carries a game right now. So, the Bengals will probably keep it close. They'll be able to put points up on the board because of who they have. The Titans have injuries in their secondary. Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, they'll find holes, and they'll be able to keep up. But the Titans, from a physical aspect, generally the most physical team wins the game. And the Titans right now are the most physical team going into every game. I expect that to be the case. So I will also be taking the Titans to win this game.
Yeah. Yeah. And with Vrabel's teams, what we're looking at, this team has kind of been dismissed by the league. Everybody talks about the Chiefs. Everybody's talking about the Chargers. I mean, and if you're not on the Titans roster and you're pissed off, the NFL keeps talking about the Chargers and you got a better record than they do, then something's wrong with you. So I believe Vrabel's got these guys amped up like the whole world's against you and you got something to prove. And from here on out, they're probably just going to keep kicking the shit out of people. And it's probably going to start this weekend. Now, I want to apologize to Bengals fans because I want to let you know the Bengals can win this game. I'm not writing them off at all. They can certainly win this game. I just think that looking at all angles right now, I think the Titans are playing better.
Yeah, that's how it feels. Just like all around playing better. Like the Bengals defense has shown its vulnerabilities of late. Like giving up 30 points to the Steelers, can't be having that. Like the Steelers have been one of the worst offenses this year. So, yeah, I think unanimously. But you know why I think people are giving up on the Titans is because we slept on the Titans last year. And then they ended up as the 1 seed, but they were the most injured team in the league. And then Vrabel wins Coach of the Year. And then they go and get wrecked in the playoffs. Ryan Tannehill, by these Bengals, by the way, Ryan Tannehill threw 4 picks against this team. So, I mean, I didn't even think about that till just now. So, yeah, Titans coming in. This is a big revenge game. This might get dangerous for the Bengals.
Yeah, it might. It'll be a good game to watch. Looking forward to it.